It's the 12th of July, 2024, about 1:30, and we just left the dock aboard our 1973 Allied Princess 36 Sequester. And we're headed out for a short afternoon sail on this Friday afternoon. It might be shorter than we like the last one was, because I'll show you in a second. Since we got here, the fog has started coming in. Out there in the distance you can see Little Cranberry Island, and there's definitely fog behind the island that wasn't there when we came out, and there is some fog between us and Great Cranberry, which was what we're looking at now, looking sort of southeast. And we'll see how bad it is when we get out here a little further and can see south out the Western Way. Well, the fog is definitely coming in over Great Cranberry now. That's what you're looking at. And there's still fog on the far side of Little Cranberry. The wind has definitely picked up. We're getting just the beginnings of some whitecaps. It was supposed to be sort of 5 to 8 with gusts into the 15-knot range today, and I'd say steady wind is closer to about 12 knots. So who knows, if it keeps picking up, we might even put a reef in the Genoa for the first time. And we're keeping an eye on the fog, and hopefully it won't come in here. We hope. And there's a gaff-rigged Friendship sloop. I believe that is the Linda, which is a day charter boat out of Northeast Harbor. And there's a much bigger boat out there, clipping along at a good pace. Well, the fog, which wasn't visible when we got to the boat, is definitely starting to come in, and it is obscuring Great Cranberry, and that boat ahead that I've got the camera centered on is in the fog. It's light fog at this point, but we're going to go into it in just a few seconds. So I think we're probably going to tack around, because I think that's going to thicken up pretty fast. Well, we tacked around just at the edge of the fog bank. As you can see, it's kind of obscured the cranberries, and Sutton, which we're pretty close to, is more or less gone, as we are heading back out of the fog, I hope. So we'll see how it goes. When we left home, it was completely clear out here with no sign at all of fog. Oh well, that's what happens. Well, we tacked and we sailed back over to the entrance to Southwest Harbor, and we've tacked around now, and we're going to sail back over toward the fog bank. Right now we're looking right at the Cranberry Islands. They're over there somewhere. Over that way is Mount Desert Island, and you can see where the fog is going into Northeast Harbor and up over the hill on the west side of the harbor. Well, despite the fog being a bit of a barrier to going anywhere, there is a nice breeze out here. We're doing 6.2 knots, close hauled. That's not bad. Could go faster if I wanted to fool with the sails a little more, but what's the point? 6.2 is plenty fast enough on this old full keel ketch. Now we're going to sail over to the edge of the fog again, turn around, and come back. Not much point in going into the fog because you won't see anything. It looks pretty dense too. Well, just about time to tack around. We can see Great Cranberry there and Sutton Island, but we're we're in the edge of the fog for sure, so we're going to tack around and head back to get out of the fog again. Even though we got good wind out here, we've been to 6.7 knots. Well, we could have continued over toward Little Cranberry, which is what we're looking at right now, but the fog is definitely out here, and just a few minutes ago this area was completely fogged in, so it could happen again. So we're sailing basically to the edge of the fog bank and then back. And you can see a lot of white caps. The wind has definitely picked up. As I said, we hit 6.7 knots close haul, so we're doing okay. Right now, we're just cruising along 5.9. And chop, it's about 1 to 1.5 feet. And the Allied is handling it like it usually does. It's nothing to this boat. Well, we're not the only ones out here. There's the Friendship sloop Salacia with the sail number. Don't know what the other boat over there is. A couple reasons for being out here today despite the fog. One is that this is the best wind we've had on any day that we wanted to go out all summer. And the other is that it's hot on shore, but not so much out here. As you get into Southwest Harbor, the temperature starts to increase, and you know, it's pretty much a scorcher when we left home. I think it was 72. So, and out here it's definitely in the 60s. So, and there's a nice breeze, so the sailing is pretty good. But there's still that nasty fog coming and going out by the Cranberry Islands. So what we're doing is sort of sailing over to the edge of the fog, turning around and sailing back, just sort of back and forth, back and forth. And you can see the fog blowing in on the hills of Mount Desert Island over there at the entrance to Northeast Harbor. Well, right now we're in between Great Cranberry, Little Cranberry, and Sutton Island. And judging from looking back where the wind is coming from, I think the fog is lifting out again for a little while, so I'm going to continue east for a little bit longer. Also, there'll be less wind and less chop here, so the tack will be easier. It's a bit of a challenge. Well, it's not a challenge, but it's a lot more work to tack in 20 knots of wind than it is in 10. So just keep going for a little bit until it's starting to warm up a little. So we don't want to get too hot. It starts getting above 70, we'll definitely turn around again and head back to Southwest Harbor, which is back that way. And I can see some of the islands to the south, so that fog bank is not as bad as it was. And we're making 5.4 knots right now. And we were out when we were out in the main part of the Great Harbor, hitting 6.7. So, considering this boat's boat speed or hull speed is a 7.07, we're getting pretty close to that. And the boat can go that fast. It just takes a good deal of energy. So we're going to sail up here a little bit further, then tack around, and I don't know, we'll see how we feel. We might go back, we might not. Well, this is our fourth return to the Southwest Harbor area so far today, and I think we're going to tack and sail back over to the Cranberries one more time. As you can see, the fog is lifted out pretty well. It's mostly out beyond Great Cranberry, and beyond Little Cranberry. So we'll tack around and sail out that way and see how it goes. Of course, the fog could come back in at any time. It's also, the wind has dropped off quite a bit. I mean, right now it feels almost calm. We're down to 4.5 knots. So we'll tack around in a little bit and head back over toward the Cranberry Islands. Okay, we're headed back toward the Cranberries. That's Little Cranberry under the jib. And Great Cranberry with the fog bank behind it on the starboard side. So we're going to sail over there. Just keep an eye on the fog. And then I think we're going to turn around and head back in for the day. It's been good sailing today. Best wind we've had all year. As I said, we got our boat speed up to 6.7 knots, which is pretty fast for this old girl. And particularly with no mainsail. So we're gonna head over toward Little Cranberry again, and hopefully the fog won't come in while we're over there. Well, we made it over to Islesford Harbor on Little Cranberry Island. The only issue we've got is this Hinkley 43 is probably gonna tack pretty soon. I don't know if he's gonna cut in front of us, or that's a fin keel boat, so he can probably tack a lot faster than we can. We're going to come up here to the edge of the mooring field, tack around, and sail back. And you can see there's fog outside the islands, and there's Great Cranberry, and the view back toward Southwest Harbor. A little hazy, but not bad. And the wind has definitely dropped off from what it was. So it isn't quite as exciting a sail as it was an hour or so ago. Anyway, we're just going to come in here and tack around. Well, we sailed over to Islesford Harbor at the end, and then back. Furled up and came in, and we're back on the dock. It was kind of a strange sail on the way back. The wind just dropped off until we were basically just sitting there about half a mile outside Southwest Harbor. So we said, what the heck, started the engine, furled up the sails, and motored in. But right at the entrance to the harbor, the wind picked up, blowing better part of 20 knots. So we came in and docked the boat in pretty heavy air. But the wind direction was such that it was just blowing us onto the finger pier, so it was no big deal. So another sail done, and that's our 4th sail for July, and hopefully we'll get out again on Sunday. The weather looks like it should be okay, but we'll wait and see. It was not supposed to be foggy during the day today, but it was. Anyway, thanks for watching.